The Department of Commerce at St. Edmund's College, in conjunction with the Biz Builders Club and IQAC, convened a significant international seminar on business and sustainability at St. Edmund's College, Shillong. The seminar delved into crucial topics pivotal for the convergence of business practices and sustainable development, including accounting practices, marketing and organizational behavior, business finance, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. The event commenced with a warm welcome address by Mr. Gautam Deb, head of department, followed by an enlightening introduction to the seminar's theme by Naveen Chetri, the coordinator. Distinguished speakers included Dr. Brother S. Coelho, principal of St. Edmund's College, Mr. B. Maharana, Director of Finance at NIPCO, and Dr. P.P. Sharma, a respected resource person from Gedu College of Business Studies, Royal University of Bhutan. The highlight of the seminar was the keynote address delivered by the esteemed chief guest, Professor Indrajit Dubey, Vice-Chancellor of the National Law University, who shared profound insights into the intersection of business practices and sustainability, igniting discussions and setting the tone for future endeavors in the field. The seminar served as a platform for academia, industry experts, and students to engage in meaningful dialogue and exchange ideas, fostering a collaborative approach towards building a sustainable future for business and society.
This project basically talks about the impacts of fiscal incentives on three basic major indicators of sustainable development. This talks about how fiscal incentives will have impact on the overall economic growth, sustainable economic growth. This project talks about how the impact of fiscal incentives is going to have impact on the employment generation, how it is going to have impact on the private sector development, because we know, you take any of the advanced countries, without the private sector, no country can grow. These kind of aspects we have included and tried to measure the wholesome economic progress in Bhutan. Bhutan is a landlocked country with a bare minimum of around 8,000 odd population, but still is known for its concept called GNS, which has been coined by the fourth king of Bhutan way back in 1972. When you see the scenario of Bhutan, in early 2000, I should mention, especially in terms of one aspect called tax incentives, the tax-based scenario. You see that tax-based scenario is very, very narrow those days. Then what happens actually here is that government of Bhutan has got many options. It might have changed the tax structure, rules and regulations to bring in more people in the tax bracket, but they didn't do anything. Rather, they have decided to give some kind of incentives to those people who they think that they have the skill, but they lack finance. And this is what we have started in Bhutan. And over the years, they have given the fiscal incentives, and now that project we got in just 2023, maybe somewhere around April, we have finished this project by taking almost 2 years. And the very good part is that we found fiscal incentives, whether directly or indirectly, it is related with the sustainable development in the country. Because at times, whatever we do in Bhutan, we must ensure that we should be abiding by the GNS philosophy, gross national happiness philosophy, which says that do not focus only on the economic indicator. Rather, there are so many of mental state of people. Please do consider quality of life. Please do consider environmental degradation. Please do consider physical health, education. Please do consider. These kind of things we have taken, and we found that this was really a helpful in case of measuring the economic performance and at the end, sustainability. One last aspect I may be touching. I'm very sorry. Yesterday I talked informally with the organizations, and suddenly I have stolen 5 more minutes to talk. So sorry for that, Father. And all of us might be knowing now, in Bhutan we are planning to come up with mega cities. It is bordering to Assam. The place is called Galaphu. And the 5th king of Bhutan recently, December 2023, 17th of December 2023, which is to be a national day of Bhutan, he has announced that mega city is going to come up. But please be mindful, this is called mindfulness city. And the mindfulness city should be operating not under SEZ, Special Economic Zone, rather it should operate under SAR, Special Administrative Region. If I say a few differences between SEZ and SAR, when you talk about SAR, all the local rules, the philosophy of GNS, Buddhist spiritual values need to be considered when you operate inside the boundary of a country. So these many aspects we have taken, and this mega city has started. And the key feature of these mega cities, when you see, we are welcoming those researchers who are basically interested in sustainable development, who are basically interested in gross national happiness concept, who are basically interested in mental health and physical health of the people, education, quality of life. So whatever projects we are going to have, these are all related with the business and sustainability. At last, I must say that it can be achieved in Bhutan. Some of you may be quite skeptical, saying that how it is possible. Let me give one last example. When you go back to the constitution of Bhutan, you find that 60% of the total landmass of the country, every time, 365 days in a year, should be covered with the forest. Please be mindful. And till today, from those days, you would be able to cover the total landmass more than 60%. And this can be one reason, thank you, this can be one reason that Bhutan is the only carbon negative country in the world. So in today's era of contemporary world, my dear fellow mates here who are present here, all the distinguished teachers, when lots of developing nations are fighting with regard to inequalities, with regard to gender bias, with regard to climate change, environmental degradation, mental and physical health issues, GNS philosophy, gross national happiness, which takes into account other factors besides the economic factors which have been taken care in the GDP, will be an approach to achieve long-term sustainability with happiness. Thank you once again for giving this wonderful opportunity to me to share a few things from my side, from the prospect of Bhutan today, and I believe that I wish this seminar will be a grand success in the whole day. And I expect that main kind of thing, majority of you are going to tell us the real findings, not hiding anything, no, nothing like that. So with this, I would like to conclude my remark, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Let me take you somewhere. Imagine you are putting a dam, and you are thinking that, well, I'm going to store all the water, because this particular water should not go to the sea, because that's the wastage. Because I will just reinvest. I'm coming to say why I'm telling this. We will try to put that particular water back for the different useful work, be it hydroelectricity, be it for agriculture, be it for distributing the water into the city, so many things, right? Now, have you imagined that by this particular process, you are actually killing the channel of the river? The upstream, where you have put that particular barrage, and then there is a downstream, where there is a marine life, the people who are in the river bank, where the water used to recharge the aquifer, where they used to have a marine species into that particular thing. You have actually killed it. And if you look into the rivers in the country, it has been several times mutilated in its journey from the source to the end. And there was a purpose while this particular river was flowing from top to down. And in that particular process, when we are calculating the advantage, we have not calculated that what are the cost which we have actually ignored, or maybe the benefit which we have actually ignored by putting the dam. We have actually not calculated the eco-service cost. Now, there is a study, and why I am telling you this particular thing, because I was a part of the scientific committee of Ganga River Basin Management, which has been executed by the Government of India for several years now. We are working from, this Ganga pollutions, and then after that this river basin management comes. And now the government again, instituted another work. It's a 6 river basin, major river basin in the country, how to manage those particular questions. And I'm not going into this thing because I want to speak a little more, and I know our Honorable Principal has given a time very strictly that you should not just, and he has demonstrated by his own way that not to speak or not to consume more time. But nevertheless, I'm a bit excited to speak, and I'll try to pull it down. Maybe I exceed 1 or 2 minutes. So what we have not done, and that is what, there is a lot of talks about the decommissioning of the dam. So even, the hydroelectric is not a clean electricity. And that's what I said, the sustainability is a complex issue. Because we don't know, we thought that engineering solution is the best solutions to bring in, and that can bring a better way of our living. But in that particular process, how much we are hitting back to the nature, we ourselves don't know, right? And for that matter, whatever the conceptualization which has been developed until now, that environmental impact assessment, or some of my colleagues talked about ESG, right? These are the conceptualized, right? Which we keep on happening. Why? This is happening because we are not clear. Because the moment we said that no, I'm comfortable with the kind of conceptualization of sustainability, we found, oh, there is something I have done which is creating a trouble to me now, right? So in the major country, there is a major country today, we are talking about decommissioning of the dam. You might know that India has started a program called River City, where there is almost 176 river city across the globe has joined. So what I'm trying to say that it is very easy to tell us that this is the sustainability and we'll go into this particular way. But believe me, until now, nobody actually knows what is the sustainability. Now let us come into the second part of the business. Until now, we are all talking about the profit maximization, and I believe sir will agree with me from the business school. They possibly mostly focus on that, how you will give a better return to the owner, right? Either the shareholder or whoever is owning this particular thing. And naturally, by this particular process, you have actually taken many things for granted. For the matter, water, groundwater. Today, you cannot drink the water which is supplied by your municipality. I remember when I was here, I never had a filter at my home. We used to take the tap water. But what happened? Today you will find in every home there is a filter, right? And what basically happened, that pollution which we are putting it into the river or into the aquifers, in the ground, or whatever the method we have adopted, we have actually passed that particular cost of cleaning the water to the domestic people, right? So why? Because one has to show that you are making a good profit for your owner, right? Now the question is, how we are going to bring this synergy between these two conflicting understandings? Like one of the models which you have heard from my colleague, which Bhutan is trying. There is several other models which all over the world we are trying. But there is no conclusive model. So let me tell you what is the latest understanding which is developing throughout the world on this particular issue. Now, until now, we have talked about the corporate social responsibility, and there is a lot of talk about that should it be voluntary, should it be mandatory, what is the meta theory of corporate social responsibility and all this particular thing. And then there is an approach which has been taken that should it be a stakeholder approach, should it be a shareholder approach, should it be the foundational approach, and there is a lot of models available throughout the world. But the latest attempt which is going on throughout the world is a corporate purpose. People are telling that, well, corporation should have a purpose, and corporation can do the business which can help the people And that helping the people will actually generate the revenue for them, not maximizing the profit, which has been understood by the corporation until now. Through the legal processes, through the policies, and also the teaching which we have done into the B school, because I also teach in the B school in several times. Now, what is this constitutional edge? Let me give you one case study or example. So I have exceeded 2 minutes. I will take 1 or 2 minutes more. There is a insulin making company. You know this. This is a Novartis something. So until now, what they thought that they are going to bring the diabetics to insulin, and by bringing the diabetic to insulin, they will make the profit. They have to say, tell back to their shareholders that how much profit they have made. But they started with one of the experiments, and which became very successful. They said, see, we don't want to sell any more the type 2 diabetics insulin. But what we'll try to do, we'll try to help people how to manage the diabetics. And in fact, they started many voluntary programs to, how to manage these particular diabetics. People found a purpose of it. That, well, this fellow is not trying to push in more and more insulin and making a profit, but rather they are trying to bring in a good health management. Because, if you are a diabetic, you cannot, though there is a lot of talks about the reversal of diabetics. I'm also a very diabetic person. I don't know how far it is successful. People has a different opinion, different people has a different opinion, or the body respond differently. So they have started that particular program, and people found a purpose, because what they have done there, they actually keep on investing on the innovations, that how the diabetes can be better managed not only by the medicine or the insulin, but something else. And it has been found that they have created a quantum jump in their profit. So I've been told, or rather it has been put into many research paper, that they have made almost 125% more profit than what they used to get before. So now the corporate purpose is become very, very important, where they are talking about companies' objective is not to do the business, but to do innovate. Innovate in such a manner which will be more in constraints with society, climate, sustainability. Because people understood that, well, if you say the sustainability, we have a misconception, or possibly there is a difficult to define the word sustainability. Now you'll find today there is a lot of popular talks on the ESG funds, right? And ESG fund is getting a popularity across the world, not in India, right? So an ESG fund, you might be aware of the fact that corporate governance has a very, very important component, that how much you have been compliant with the environmental issues. And I've been told one of my article has introduced the section 166 in the Companies Act 2013, wherein it says the director has a responsibility even towards environment. Because at that time I wrote very strongly that by the anti-pollution legislation, you cannot, manage the sustainable or environmental governance. That time I was using the word environmental governance in the country. So if you want the business to be responsible, the business has to be accountable through the people who are taking the decision in the company. So in fact, the corporate purpose is something on that particular line itself, where they are telling that, well, it is not only the accountability, which was a previous thought of the corporate governance, but people are talking about the responsibility, and it is of a more of a cultural responsibility to include it within the corporation. My friend was telling that, sir, it is required the law to come in a very strong way, and I responded to him, see, law has a limitation. Law can be only effective when the cultural stability is there in the society. people are understood the same thing in the same manner, then only law will be effective into this particular thing. I've taken 16 minutes, sorry sir. So here at the set amount, let us praise to integrate the profound insight from the traditional wisdom with actionable evidence-based strategy. And why I'm telling strategic wisdom, a few days back we have organized one conference in NLU May, and where we have brought all the leaders who are working into the traditional understanding of the sustainability. And I think this is now the next major talks is going on all across the world. And we found there is a many things which are quite well understood within the society, within the traditional society, and it can also be incorporated within the modern life and the culture. Let our business not just adopt the lead the transformation towards the sustainability and equitable world. The statistics from India and specifically from Meghalaya are not just a number, they are a call to action, a reminder of the urgency and the impact of our collective effort we can. Thank you for having this particular discussion, and I believe young generation need to drive furthermore, right, to understand what is this sustainability all about and how the business tomorrow going to be a better, not for the profit. Business cannot run without a profit. Not only for the profit, let me change my, the wordings, not only for the profit, but to be inclusive for the better governance of the society.